The bottle shattered against the bar like a gunshot in the dead of night, shards flying everywhere as the drunk guy's fist connected with my jaw, sending me sprawling across the sticky floor of the velvet rope. "You think you can just cut me off, pretty boy?" he snarled, his breath a toxic cloud of whiskey and rage, while the bass from the speakers throbbed like a heartbeat refusing to quit. In that split second, as blood trickled warm down my chin, I locked eyes with Jamie, my cousin, standing frozen in the doorway, his face a mask of shock that cracked into something fiercer, something that said he'd burn the whole place down for me. That was the night everything unraveled, or maybe began, depending on how you look at it. The club, our little empire in the heart of Manhattan, had always been Sarah's and my baby, a pulsating vein of lights and laughter where secrets hid in the shadows. But Sarah was gone, off in LA chasing some deal that promised to make us legends, leaving me to hold the fort alone. And then Jamie showed up unannounced, with his easy grin and that old spark in his eyes, the one we'd buried under years of family and normalcy. God, I hadn't seen him in 5 years, not since Aunt Clara's funeral, where we'd hugged too long and whispered promises we'd never kept. I wiped the blood from my lip with the back of my hand, tasting copper as the bouncer, Big Mike, all 200 pounds of him, pinned the guy to the ground. The crowd parted like the Red Sea, murmurs rippling through the strobe-lit haze. Jamie was at my side before I could blink, his hand steady on my elbow, pulling me up with a grip that felt like an anchor in a storm. "Magnus, Jesus, you okay?" His voice was low, urgent, cutting through the chaos like it always had, even back when we were kids stealing smokes from Uncle Ray's garage in Queens. "Yeah," I muttered, though my head spun like I'd chugged a bottle myself. Just another Friday. But it wasn't. Not with him here. Jamie, the cousin who'd always been more brother than blood, the one who'd come out at 16 and shattered our family's fragile peace. I'd envied him then, his quiet courage, while I buried mine under layers of denial and Sarah's unwavering love. She was the safe harbor, the girl next door who'd turned into my wife, the one who made the world make sense. Or so I told myself for 8 years. He steered me to the office behind the bar, away from the prying eyes and the thump of EDM that never stopped. The door clicked shut, muffling the world, and suddenly it was just us, 2 grown men in a room that smelled of spilled gin and regret. Jamie grabbed a towel from the desk, dabbing at my split lip with a gentleness that made my chest ache. "You look like hell, cuz," he said, his green eyes, mirror images of mine, searching my face. Up close he hadn't changed much. Tousled dark hair, that faint scar above his eyebrow from the time we'd crashed bikes into the creek. But there was a hardness now, lines etched from city life, from loves lost and found in the grind of Brooklyn bars. "I'm fine," I insisted, pulling away, but my voice cracked. The truth was I wasn't. Sarah had been gone 3 days, and the club was already a powder keg. Suppliers ghosting us, the DJ flaking, and now this. Some Wall Street asshole thinking he owned the night. "What are you even doing here? I thought you were in Seattle or some shit." Jamie leaned against the desk, crossing his arms over a chest that filled out his faded Ramones tee better than I remembered. "Heard about the expansion. Figured you could use a hand. Plus, Mom's been nagging. Go check on your cousin, Jamie, he's all alone out there." He air-quoted with a smirk, but his eyes didn't laugh. "And honestly, I missed this. Missed you." The words hung there, heavy as the humid air seeping under the door. "Missed you." Simple, loaded. We hadn't talked about the before. The summers at the lake house, the way his laugh could light up a rainy afternoon, the confusing heat that bloomed when he'd sling an arm around my shoulders and pull me close. I chalked it up to teenage bullshit. Buried it when I met Sarah in college, when we built this life brick by brick. But now, with her halfway across the country, Jamie's presence felt like a crack in the foundation. "Look, I appreciate it," I said, forcing a grin as I stood, testing my balance. "But you don't have to play hero. I've got this." He stepped closer, too close, his hand lingering on my arm.
"Bullshit, Magnus.
You're drowning and you know it. Let me help. For old time's sake." I wanted to say no, to shove him out the door and call Sarah for her steady voice over the line. But the club needed me whole, and damn if his touch didn't steady something deeper.
Fine irrelented.
1 week. See how it goes. His smile broke wide, genuine, and for a heartbeat, the world righted itself. Little did I know that week would rewrite everything. The next morning hit like a freight train. Hangover from adrenaline, jaw throbbing under a purple bruise that Sarah would kill me for if she saw it on FaceTime. I dragged myself to the loft above the club, our penthouse with its exposed brick and view of the Hudson that never got old. Sarah had picked the place, said it screamed success, even if rent ate half our profits. I brewed coffee black as my mood, scrolling her texts. Miss you already. Close the deal today. Love you. Heart emoji, always the heart. Guilt twisted in my gut. She'd trusted me with this, our dream incarnate. The Velvet Rope wasn't just a nightclub. It was escape, rebellion. The pulse of a city that never slept. We'd opened it 5 years ago, post-recession, betting everything on bottle service and guest DJs. Paid off mostly. But nights like last had me questioning if the high was worth the crash. A knock rattled the door, and there was Jamie, paper bags in hand, smelling like street cart bacon and fresh resolve. Breakfast burritos from that spot on 8th. Figured you'd need fuel before we dive in. I let him in, the loft suddenly smaller with his energy filling it. He unpacked on the kitchen island, chatting about his flight, the gig he ditched as a bar back in Portland because New York's where the magic happens, right? I nodded, half listening, my eyes tracing the way his jeans hugged his hips as he moved. Stop it, I thought, heat rising unbidden. This was Jamie family. The kid who'd taught me to skip stones, not this. We ate standing up, mapping the day on a napkin. Inventory check, staff meeting, promo for the weekend bash. You're a natural at this chaos, I admitted as we headed down to the club, the elevator creaking like it knew our secrets. He shrugged, bumping my shoulder. Runs in the family. Remember Uncle Ray's garage sales? We'd hustle those old records like pros. Laughter bubbled up, real for the first time in days. Yeah, I remembered. Those afternoons turned into evenings, us sprawled on oil-stained concrete, vinyl spinning tales of heartbreak and freedom. Jamie had been the first to spot the Bowie album, holding it up like treasure. This guy's a genius, Magnus. Hides in plain sight. His voice had dropped then, meaningful, and I'd pretended not to hear the undercurrent. By noon we were elbow-deep in stockroom hell, crates of liquor stacked like Jenga towers, labels peeling in the damp. Jamie hauled a case of Grey Goose with ease, muscles flexing under his shirt, and I caught myself staring again. Earth to Magnus, he teased, setting it down with a thud. You zoning out on me? Just thinking about Sarah. I lied, grabbing a clipboard to hide my flush. She'd love this, total control freak mode. His expression softened, a flicker of something unreadable crossing his face. She's lucky. You too. You're solid. Built something real here. Yeah. I echoed, the word tasting like ash. Solid. That's what everyone said. Sarah and I, we fit on paper. College sweethearts, shared ambitions, the kind of love that turned heads at parties. But lately the fits felt forced, like a suit a size too small. And Jamie? He was the wild card, the what if that whispered in quiet moments. We broke for lunch at a deli around the corner. Greasy heroes wrapped in foil, perched on milk crates in an alley alive with sirens and street musicians. New York in summer, sweat slick and unapologetic. Jamie leaned back, wiping mustard from his lip, his knee brushing mine accidentally on purpose. So spill. What's eating you besides drunk douchebags? This place is thriving. I hesitated, the city noise a buffer. Pressure, I guess. Expansion means risks, loans, investors. Sarah's the visionary. I'm just the guy who keeps the lights on. He tilted his head, studying me. Nah. You're the heart, Magnus. Always have been. That's why I came back. The words landed soft. A confession wrapped in casual. My pulse kicked up and I looked away, toward the graffiti-tagged wall where a faded rainbow flag hung limp from a fire escape. Pride Month had come and gone, leaving echoes in the pavement. Why now? I asked, voice barely above the hum of traffic. After all this time? Jamie's gaze dropped to his hands, scarred from bar fights and broken bottles. Because life's too short for half measures. And you've been half measuring for years. The alley spun a little, his truth slicing clean. I opened my mouth to argue, to defend the life I'd chosen, but the words stuck. Instead I stood, crumpling the wrapper. Small. Back to it. That night, the club thrummed with a different energy. Jamie behind the bar, mixing drinks with flair that drew tips like magnets. Smiles for the drag queens in the VIP. Winks for the finance bros nursing their egos. I watched from the catwalk, nursing a soda, the bruise on my jaw a dull throb. He fit here seamless like he'd never left. A group of guys clustered around him laughing at some story, and jealousy sharp unfamiliar stabbed my chest. Not the barfly kind, but something possessive, primal. Sarah called around midnight, her voice crackling from the coast. How's my empire holding up? Any drama? I leaned against the cool metal railing, eyes on Jamie slinging a shaker. Minor scuffle. Nothing I couldn't handle. Lie by omission. Jamie's here actually. Helping out. Silence, then her laugh, warm as always. Cousin Jamie? Oh, that's perfect. Tell him I said hi. God, I miss you, babe. 2 more weeks and we're golden. Miss you too, I said, meaning it, but the ache was muddled now, tangled with the man below who glanced up and caught my eye, holding it a beat too long. As the crowd thinned, Jamie found me in the office, counting receipts under the desk lamp's harsh glow. Solid night, he said, dropping into the chair across from me, legs stretched out. His boot nudged mine under the desk, a spark jumping the gap. Yeah, thanks to you. I tallied the last column, numbers blurring. The air thickened, charged like before a storm. Hey, about earlier. Forget it. He waved it off, but his voice was rough. Just old habits. Pushing buttons. I set the pen down, meeting his eyes. Maybe I need pushing. The words escaped before I could cage them, hanging there raw. Jamie's breath hitched, his hand reaching across the desk, fingers brushing mine, electric, inevitable. For a moment we were kids again, daring each other to jump the creek, hearts pounding with the thrill of almost. Then my phone buzzed, Sarah's face lighting the screen. I yanked my hand back, the spell shattering. It's her, I muttered, answering with a forced cheer. Jamie stood, slipping out without a word, leaving me to the one-sided conversation that suddenly felt like chains. 2 weeks in, and the rhythm we'd fallen into was a dangerous dance. Mornings plotting over coffee in the loft, afternoons wrestling inventory like wrestlers in a ring, nights where the club's pulse mirrored my own erratic beat. Jamie had a way of seeing through the bullshit, calling out lazy staff with a joke that disarmed them, charming vendors over the phone like a silver-tongued fox. Profits ticked up, the vibe shifted. Patrons lingered longer, whispered that the velvet rope felt alive again. But the nights were the killer. After close, we'd crack beers on the rooftop. The city sprawled below like a glittering confession. Smoke from his cigarette curled into the stars, and he'd talk, really talk, about the exes who'd carved him up, the gigs and dive bars where he'd poured his soul into strangers. Love's a hustle, Magnus, he'd say, exhaling slow. Gotta know when to fold. I'd nod, nursing my bottle, the skyline blurring with memories I hadn't unpacked in years. Like the summer after high school, when Dad caught us wrestling in the backyard. Too rough, too close, and his face had twisted in disgust he never voiced. Be careful, son, he'd said later, eyes averted. Careful. The word had become my mantra, shaping every choice. Sarah, the club, the straight-line life. One night, buzzed on cheap IPAs, Jamie turned to me, profile sharp against the neon bleed from Times Square. You ever wonder what it'd be like if you jumped instead of stayed on the bank? My throat tightened. Every damn day. He shifted closer, shoulder to shoulder, the heat of him seeping through cotton. Then why not now? Because. The word cracked, flimsy as paper. Because Sarah. Because family. Because the world didn't bend for late bloomers. But mostly because admitting it meant dismantling everything. His hand found my knee, thumb tracing a slow circle that set my nerves alight. Magnus. I pulled away, standing too fast, the chair scraping like a scream. I can't. Not like this. He didn't chase, just watched me with eyes that held no judgment, only sorrow. Okay, your call. I fled to the loft, locking the door against the what-ifs, dialing Sarah in the dark. She picked up sleepy, murmuring love words that once soothed but now chafed. Everything all right? She asked, sensing the fracture. Yeah, just tired. Another lie stacking higher. The next day brought the storm we'd been dodging. Tommy, our head bartender, cornered me in the stockroom, face red as the crates behind him. What's with the cousin? He's poaching my shifts, man. Telling everyone how to run my bar. I rubbed my temples, the bruise faded but the headache eternal. He's helping, Tommy. We're short-staffed.
Bull.
He's got you wrapped, Magnus. And it's weird him crashing here all buddy-buddy. His eyes narrowed, implication hanging like smoke. Sarah know about this bromance? Rage flared, hot and unbidden. Watch your mouth. He's family. Tommy snorted, grabbing a case and shoving past. Family my ass. Just saying, people talk. They did. Whispers in the green room, sidelong glances when Jamie and I synced on the floor. By evening, the tension hummed louder than the sound system. We pushed through a packed house. Guest DJ spinning house tracks that shook the walls, but every brush of hands behind the bar, every shared laugh over a spilled drink, felt like kindling. Mid-set, disaster struck. A fire alarm wailed. False, thank God, some idiot with a vape in the bathroom, but the crowd panicked, bottlenecking the exits. I waded in, yelling orders, Jamie at my flank like a shadow. We herded them out, his voice steady in my ear. This way, folks, easy does it. Outside, sirens wailed, blue lights painting the street in chaos. In the aftermath, as cops cleared the scene, Jamie slumped against the wall, adrenaline crashing. Close one. I nodded, chest heaving, the night's near miss mirroring my own teetering edge. Couldn't have done it without you. His smile was weary, victorious. Teamwork, right? But Tommy's words festered, and when we regrouped inside, he was waiting, arms crossed. Told you. Place is falling apart on your watch. Back off, Jamie snapped, stepping forward. We just saved your ass from a stampede. Tommy's lip curled. Saved? Or showed off? Everyone sees it, you two thick as thieves. What would Sarah say? The room went still, staff frozen mid-cleanup. Heat flooded my face, a mix of shame and fury. Enough. You're done tonight. Go home. He stormed out, door slamming like punctuation. Jamie touched my arm soft. Hey. Don't. I shrugged him off, the weight too much. Just. Give me space. He did, retreating to the bar, but his eyes followed me all night, a silent plea. Sarah called later, triumphant. Deals in the bag. Coming home early Friday. Can't wait to see you. Joy should have surged, but it pooled cold in my stomach. That's great, babe. Really. You sound off. The club's okay. Yeah. Jamie's been a lifesaver. Truth laced with thorns. She paused. Good. Love you. Love you too. The line went dead, leaving echo. Friday dawned gray. Rain lashing the windows like accusations. Jamie was already in the kitchen when I stumbled down, brewing coffee with quiet efficiency. Morning, he said, neutral, handing me a mug. Thanks. Awkward silence stretched, broken only by the patter outside. About last night, Tommy's an idiot. Ignore him. Jamie leaned on the counter, arms braced. It's not him. It's us, Magnus. This. Whatever's brewing. I came to help, not complicate. You're not. The denial was automatic, hollow. I set the mug down untouched. Sarah's back tonight. Things you'll normalize. His jaw tightened, a muscle ticking. Normalize. Right. He pushed off, grabbing his jacket. I'll wrap up loose ends, then head out. Wouldn't want to cramp the reunion. Jamie. Forget it. He was at the door, hand on the knob. Be happy, cuz. You deserve it. The slam reverberated, leaving me in a loft that suddenly echoed empty. I spent the day in a fog. Inventory double checks, playlist tweaks. Each task a distraction from the hollow in my chest. By evening, the club buzzed anticipatory. Fairy lights strung for Sarah's return. Staff buzzing with gossip Tommy had no doubt fueled. She arrived like a whirlwind, taxi pulling up curbside. Her blonde hair whipping in the drizzle as she dashed in, arms open. Magnus. Her hug was fierce, familiar, smelling of airport coffee and home. God, I missed you. I held her tight, burying my face in her shoulder, willing the old fire to ignite. Missed you more. Half true. We toured the floor, her eyes lighting on changes, the new LED panels, the revamped VIP nook. Jamie's touch, she asked, impressed. Yeah, he's talented. She squeezed my hand. Remind me to thank him. Hey, where is he? I owe him a drink. My stomach nodded. He bounced. Said something about Brooklyn calling. Her brow furrowed. Already? Well, invite him over soon. Family night. The word family twisted like a knife. We worked the door together, her charm disarming the line, but my smiles felt painted on. Midnight hit, and as she danced with a group of regulars, I slipped to the office, the bruise on my soul throbbing anew. That's when Tommy struck. Sliding an uninvited breath sour. Told you she'd see through it. The way you moon over him? Pathetic. Out, I growled, but he was on a roll, voice rising. Ask her yourself. Everyone knows the cousin's got you twisted. Queer as the day is long. The door flew open, Sarah face pale. What's going on? Tommy smirked, sensing blood. Just enlightening your hubby. About his little side project. She turned to me, eyes searching.
Magnus.
The room spun, secrets spilling like overturned bottles. It's not. But Tommy cut in, venomous. Oh, it is. Saw them on the roof, all touchy-feely. Your man's got secrets. Sarah's gaze hardened, not at him but me. Is it true? I couldn't lie, not to her face. Jamie helped. That's all. But, feelings. Yeah. The admission hung, shattering the air. Tommy slunk out, smug, but he was forgotten. Sarah sank into the chair, face crumpling. How long? Recently. Or, always, maybe. The dam broke, words tumbling. Childhood confusion, buried longings, the safety of us masking the storm inside. She listened, tears silent, hand over mouth. When I finished, hoarse she stood, voice steady. I knew something was off. Not the details, but you pulling away. I thought it was the club.
I'm sorry, he whispered, rushing for her.
She stepped back, not cruel, just done. Don't. Not yet. She wiped her eyes, resolve hardening. I need air. We'll talk tomorrow. Clean. She left then, coat over arm, the door clicking soft as goodbye. I sat in the dark, the club's distant hum mocking my unraveling. Dawn crept in, gray light filtering through blinds when the door rattled. Not Sarah, Jamie, disheveled, rain-soaked, eyes wild. Heard from Mike. Tommy's running his mouth. Sarah. Gone, I said, voice flat. Confronted. It's out. He crossed the room in 3 strides, dropping to his knees before me. Hands on my thighs, grounding, desperate. Fuck. Magnus, I'm so. No. I cupped his face, thumbs tracing the scar, the world narrowing to this. You were right. The pushing. I was scared of losing her, you, me. His breath shuddered. And now. Now. I choose. The words freed something ancient, terrifying. I leaned in, forehead to his, the contact, a vow. Us. If you'll have the wreckage. Jamie's laugh broke, wet, relieved. Wreckage? You're the best part of me, always were. We rose together, tangled in an embrace that bridged years, tentative, then fierce, lips brushing in a kiss that tasted of salt and second chances. No rush, no fire, just truth blooming slow in the ruins. Sarah came back that afternoon, suitcase in tow, face composed. We sat on the couch, coffee cooling untouched, laying it bare. No blame, just honesty. I love you, she said, voice cracking. But not like that. Not anymore. Me too, I echoed, grief sharp but clean. You're my foundation. Always will be. We cried then for the life unlived, the dreams we'd shared. By evening, papers drawn, amicable split, the club joint for now, her eyeing Ella full-time. Go find your story, Magnus, she whispered at the door, hugging tight. Write it bold. I did, with Jamie at my side. Weeks blurred into rebuilding, not just the club but us. He stayed, no more crashing. Mornings tangled in sheets, his head on my chest, the city waking gentle. The velvet rope thrived, whispers turning to cheers as patrons caught the spark between the owners. 2 men unapologetic, turning pain to pulse. One night, rooftop under stars, Jamie lit a smoke, passing it over. Think Uncle Ray's spinning in his grave? I laughed, pulling him close. Nah. He'd get it. Love's the real hustle. And in that moment, with his heartbeat sinking mine, I knew. Betrayal had broken me open, but grace had pieced me whole. Not perfect, not easy, but human, achingly so. The city hummed below, endless, forgiving, and for the first time, I danced to its rhythm unafraid. The divorce papers sat on the kitchen island like a loaded gun, ink still drying under the harsh fluorescence of my loft. Sarah had signed them that morning, her pen steady, her smile a fragile thing that didn't quite reach her eyes. It's the right move, Magnus, she'd said, folding the documents with care, as if wrapping a gift we both knew was poisoned. For both of us. And then she was gone, wheels humming down the alley toward a cab bound for JFK. Her laughter echoing in texts that would soon fade to polite check-ins. I stood there staring at the stack, the weight of it pinning me like gravity gone wrong. 8 years boiled down to legalese and asset splits. The club stayed joint, a concession to practicality. She'd consult remotely, take her cut, let me run the day-to-day. Fair. Merciful even. But mercy didn't fill the hollow where her side of the bed used to be, or quiet the voice in my head replaying every "I love you" that now rang false. Jamie found me like that, mid-afternoon slump, a half-eaten bagel forgotten on the counter. He'd been out scouting new suppliers, his energy a constant in the storm I'd become. "Hey," he said softly, dropping a kiss to my temple as he shrugged off his jacket. "How'd it go?" I slid the papers toward him, numb. "Clean break. She's good. We're good." He scanned them quick, then set them aside, pulling me into his arms without a word. His hold was solid, no pity, just presence, the kind that said he'd weather whatever came. "Proud of you," he murmured into my hair. "Takes guts." Guts. Yeah, that's what it felt like, carving out your own heart. We stayed like that till the bagel grew cold, the city noise filtering up like a distant applause. That night the velvet rope pulsed with forced normalcy. A midweek lounge set, velvet ropes parting for influencers and off-duty actors chasing anonymity in our booths. I worked the floor in autopilot, nodding at compliments on the vibe, mixing mocktails for the sober-curious crowd. Jamie bartended, his flair undimmed, but I caught his glances, checking, protective like I might shatter under the strobes. Around one, a familiar face cut through the throng. Tommy slinking in with a posse of meatheads, his grin all teeth and no remorse. Word traveled fast in our world. He'd probably heard about the split and come to gloat. I tensed, but Jamie was there first, leaning over the bar with a rag in hand, voice honeyed venom. "Evening, gents. What's the poison tonight?" Tommy's eyes flicked to me, triumphant. "Scotch, neat. And whatever he's having." Nod to me, casual as a shank. I approached, slow, pulse steady. "Water's fine." His laugh barked. "Water? Lightened up since the missus bailed? Or just chasing clarity for your new arrangement?" The bar went quiet, heads turning. Jamie's knuckles whitened on the glass, but I raised a hand, my fight. "Tommy, you're done here. Past tense. Revoked your tab, your face, all of it. Walk." He stood, chair scraping, towering but unsteady. "You think you can just, after what I did for this dump, exposed your little secret? You're welcome." Gratitude curdled to rage, hot and clarifying. "You didn't expose shit. You stirred it. Now get out before I let Mike escort you." His buddies shifted, but Tommy puffed up, finger jabbing. "Fairy. Both of you. Ruining a good thing." The word landed like a slap, old wounds reopening. But this time it didn't bury me. It ignited. "Yeah," I said, voice low, crowd leaning in. "I'm gay. Have been, probably, since we were kids dodging rocks in Queens. And Jamie? He's the best damn thing to walk through that door. So yeah, ruin. For assholes like you." Gasps rippled, then cheers, sporadic at first, building as phones whipped out, capturing the stand. Tommy deflated, muttering curses as Mike materialized, herding him toward the exit. The door swung shut, and the room erupted, claps and whoops washing over us like rain after drought. Jamie rounded the bar, pulling me into a hug that drew whistles. "Hero," he whispered, lips brushing my ear. "Just honest." I shot back, but my grin was real, the weight lifting a fraction. Word spread overnight. Socials lit up with clips, tagged Velvet Truth, our follows spiking. Sarah texted at dawn, saw the video. Bold move. Proud. Heart emoji, no bitterness. Progress. But boldness had a price. Monday brought the suits. Investors Sarah had lined up pre-split, now sniffing blood in the water. They filed into the office mid-morning, 3 of them in crisp Brooks Brothers, briefcases clicking like judgments. Lead guy, Harlan, bald as a cue ball, eyed Jamie and me with thinly veiled disdain as we shook hands over the desk. "Expansion sounds ambitious," he said, flipping through projections. "But the personal drama divorced that viral spat. Risk stability." I leaned forward, channeling Sarah's steel. Drama sells. Authenticity keeps him coming back. We've got numbers to prove it. Up 20% since the buzz. Jamie chimed in smooth. And fresh eyes on ops. We're lean mean ready to scale. Harlan's gaze lingered on our joined hands under the table, subtle but there. Personal lives aside, viability's key. Any entanglements that could derail. The room chilled. I squeezed Jamie's fingers. Anchor. None. We're solid. Partners in every sense. They exchanged looks, then Harlan nodded curtly. We'll review. Expect a call. Door shut, Jamie exhaled. Smooth. Liar. I pulled him close, foreheads touching. But we faced it. Together. He kissed me then, slow and sure, the office fading to just us. Always. The call came Tuesday, yes, with caveats. Image consultant on retainer, NDAs for staff. We signed the deal, locking in funds for a Brooklyn outpost. Victory tasted bittersweet. Laced with the knowledge that every win came with scrutiny. But damn if it didn't feel like flying. As summer deepened, so did we. Mornings became rituals. Jamie's pancakes, lopsided but loved. Coffee steaming as we pored over blueprints. Afternoons, we'd steal hours in the park, Central's green lung, sprawled on blankets with books and beers, his head in my lap while I read aloud from Kerouac, voices tangling in the breeze. On the road, I'd murmur, fingers in his hair, and he'd hum agreement, eyes closed against the sun. Nights at the club blurred into magic, him spinning guest sets, me in the booth tweaking lights to match his beats. Patrons became familiars, the trans couple who claimed our corner booth, the straight allies raising toasts to the gays who saved my night. We hosted queer nights, proceeds to shelters, the floor a sea of flags and feathers, joy electric. But shadows lingered. Family calls, mom voice thin over the line from Florida. Heard about Sarah. And him. Jamie. Is it true? Hesitant, not hateful but probing. Yeah, mom. True. Breath held. Pause then soft. Well. As long as you're happy, son. Not full acceptance but a crack, enough light to grow. Uncle Ray's side was frostier. No calls, just a curt email from his widow. Disappointing. Jamie took it harder, staring at his phone in the dim loft. Blood, huh? I wrapped around him from behind, chin on his shoulder. Not all of it. We've got our own now. He turned vulnerable. Scared it'll break us? The outside. Then we rebuild. Kiss to his temple, promise. Autumn crept in, leaves turning fire along the avenues, the club decked in amber lights for harvest bashes. Expansion groundwork broke, Brooklyn site, a warehouse reborn as Velvet East. Jamie dove in, sketching layouts till dawn, his passion a mirror to mine. But late one night, grease-pencil dreams scattered across the table, he faltered. What if it's too much? Us, the business, everything on the line. I gathered the papers, stacking neat. Then we pivot. Like always. His eyes searched mine, doubt flickering. You regret? Choosing this? Never. Hand to heart. You're my road, Jamie. The one worth every mile. We made love then, slow under sheets that smelled of us. Exploring, affirming, no rush to claim but to connect. Afterward, tangled limbs, his whisper. Love you, echoed back seal. But fate loves a twist. Mid-November, a call from Ellis, Sarah, voice tight. Investors pulling back. Whispers of scandal, Tommy's suing. Defamation, says you outed him wrong. Rage iced my veins. That prick. After everything. Lawyers say it's bluff but it spooks them. Harlan's on the fence. Jamie paced beside me, fury matching. We fight. Expose his bullshit. We did. Hired counsel dug dirt. Tommy's history of harassment claims bounced checks. Depositions dragged. Holidays hollowed by briefs and bills. Mom sent care packages, cookies, notes, strong together. Small graces. Christmas Eve, snow dusting the rooftops, we closed early. Loft aglow with string lights and a tree Jamie had dragged up from the lot. Ornaments clinking like bells. Sarah flew in, neutral ground, toasting with eggnog. To new chapters. No awkwardness, just ease, friends unburdened. As midnight tolled, Jamie pulled me to the window, city blanketed white. Best gift, he murmured, ring box in pocket. A simple band, promise not possession. Tears pricked. Yeah, everything. The suit dropped weeks later. Tommy folding under evidence, payout nil. Harlan recommitted, Brooklyn rising from the ashes. Spring bloomed and with it us roots deepening, branches reaching. One dawn, rooftop again, coffee steaming, Jamie grinned. Told you. Hustle's worth it. I kissed him, skyline witness. Damn right. Meant everything. Summer returned like an old flame, humid and insistent, wrapping Manhattan in a haze that turned the streets into steamy confessions. The velvet rope, both of them now, thrummed hotter than ever, Brooklyn's outpost drawing crowds from the borough's hip enclaves. A gritty counterpoint to the midtown polish. Jamie and I split time between locations, a tag team act that kept us synced but stretched thin. Our loft a revolving door of duffels and delayed dinners. It was a Tuesday in July, the kind where the air conditioner wheezes defeat when the first crack showed. I'd been in Brooklyn all day, overseeing a sound system install that dragged like bad karma. Wires tangling, techs bickering under the relentless sun beating through warehouse windows. By evening, sweat-soaked and snappish, I hit the Midtown Club for inventory, only to find Jamie absent, bar staffed by rookies fumbling orders. Where's Jay? I asked Lena, our lead server, as she juggled a tray of glowing shots. She shrugged, apologetic. Called in, said something came up. Sounded off. Off. The word lodged like a splinter. Jamie wasn't the off type. He was the fixer, the one who texted memes at 3 a.m. to pull me from worry spirals. I texted him everything good. And got bubbles, then nothing. Radio silence stretched as I locked up, the club's echo mocking my unease. Back at the loft, lights off, the place felt haunted. His jacket slung over the chair, a half-read novel splayed on the couch. I paced, phone in hand, jumping at shadows till headlights swept the alley. Door creaked open, Jamie slipping in like a ghost. Hair damp from a shower that hadn't washed away the strain in his eyes. Hey, he said, forcing casual, dropping keys with a clatter. I crossed arms, heart hammering. Missed you tonight. What's up? He hesitated, rubbing his neck. Attell, the one from boyhood fibs about broken vases. Just needed space. Supplier drama in Queens, old contact from Portland days, leaned on me for a hookup. Lie. I knew his tells like my own scars. Try again. Lena said you sounded wrecked. Sigh escaped him, shoulders slumping as he sank onto the stool. Fine. Smom. Called yesterday, heart stuff, tests pending. Flying out tomorrow. Relief mixed with ache. Not us but family, the ghost that bound and bruised. Aunt Clara's passing had gutted him. Her letters post coming out a litany of prayers that masked rejection. Why not tell me? We could've. Cancelled shifts? No. He met my eyes raw. I handle my shit, Magnus. Always have. The words stung, echoing old patterns, his armor, forged in solo battles. Not alone anymore. That's the deal. He stood, closing the gap, hands framing my face. I know. Just scared. Of losing her. Of this blowing up everything again. We held there, breaths mingling, then kissed, fierce, reaffirming. But the seed of doubt had sprouted, space, he'd needed space. From me? The question wormed, unbidden. He flew out dawn flight, me driving to LaGuardia in pre-rush quiet. Radio humming low ballads that mirrored my mood. At drop-off, his hug lingered, lips pressing temple. Back Friday. Love you. Love you more. Call anytime. He did sporadic updates. Tests clearish, meds adjusted, mom smiles brittle but there. She's trying, he'd say, voice tinny over spotty signal. Asks about you. The club boy. Progress. I laughed but unease nod. Midtown night solo, I poured extra into the floor. Charming tables, tweaking playlists. Drawing praise from staff but feeling the void. Sarah checked in via video, her LA glow stark against my pallor. You look beat. Jamie okay? Yeah. Family snag. Deflection easy habit. She arched a brow, screen savvy. And you? Don't ghost yourself, Magnus. Her words lingered, a mirror to my drift. Friday arrived sticky, promise of storm in the air. I prepped the club solo. Polishing brass, cueing lights, anticipation buzzing. Door swung at 8, Jamie striding in, duffel slung, grin wide as the Hudson. Missed this, he said, sweeping me into a dip kiss that drew hoots from early birds. We fell into rhythm, seamless, him mixing, me mingling. The night peaking with a live sax set that wove through the crowd like smoke. Post-close rooftop beers, his head on my shoulder, city lights a carpet below. Cleared the air with her, he murmured. Told her about us. Full story. My pulse skipped. And tears. Hugs. Bring him next time. Soft laugh. We're okay. Relief flooded sweet. Proud of you. His hand traced my thigh, intimate. Your turn? Mom. I tensed, the old knot tightening. Soon. After Brooklyn settles. No puść. But the space between words felt wider. A chasm papered over. Weeks rolled, heat wave breaking into balmy ease. Expansion hit milestones, Brooklyn soft open, lines snaking the block, critics raving queer haven with edge. We celebrated with staff bash, rooftop transformed. String lights, grill smoke, laughter echoing off bricks. Jamie grilled burgers, apron smeared, stealing kisses between flips. I DJ'd low-key, spinning Motown that had couples swaying slow. Mid-party my phone buzzed, mom unscheduled. Heart lurched, she hated crowds.
Magnus.
Can you talk? Hang on. I ducked inside, signal stronger.
Ei, ma.
What's up? Her voice quavered, Florida twang thick. Your cousin Jamie. Saw pictures online. The club you two. Close. Is it? There it was, the probe turned scalpel. Yeah, ma. We're together. Dating. Love him. Silence stretched, ocean roar in my ears. Then small. Oh, well. He's family. Just be careful, honey. World ain't kind. Not yes but not no, a foothold. Thanks, ma. Means a lot. Back out, Jamie caught my face, thumb brushing lip. Good. Step forward. I pulled him to dance, bodies sinking to the beat, the party fading to us. But cracks spiderwebbed subtle. Late shifts he'd linger at Brooklyn, tying ends, coming home to crash, kisses perfunctory. I'd wake to empty sheets, coffee cold, notes, out early love. Love but distant like mail from afar. One night, post-rush, I confronted gentle, loft dim, takeout steaming. Talk to me. You're pulling back. He poked at low main, evasive. Just slammed. Brooklyn's a beast.
Bull.
Fork down. It's the family stuff. Mom's words sticking. Sigh, fork twirling. Maybe. She cornered me. Don't ruin him, Jamie. He's got a good life. Like I'm the wrecking ball. Rage simmered for her caution, his internalization. You're not ruining. Building. Eyes met, vulnerable. Then why's it feel like I'm dragging you down? The stares, the whispers. Cousins?
Groß.
Saw it on a review. The review. A 1-star barb, anonymous poison.
Ide dall'ata. Dismissa.
But to him shrapnel. Haters gonna hate. We knew that. Yeah. But doubt clung a third wheel. I reached across, lacing fingers. Fight it with me. Or it'll win. Nod squeeze. Trying. We tried therapy sessions squeezed between shifts. A queer counselor in Chelsea who unpacked our baggage with surgical kindness. Trauma bonds, she said. Family scripts you rewrite together. Homework. Date nights, no club talk. First one. Ferry to Staten Island, dusk gilding the waves, hands linked on the rail. He opened up. Teen years couchsurfing post coming out. Bar gigs masking loneliness. Thought I'd never fit. Then you. My turn. Denial's cage, Sarah's grace and release. You freed me. Laughter mingled with salt spray, healing tentative. Fall hinted, leaves edging gold when the bomb dropped. Harlan's email, investor update. Concerns personal optics. Suggests separation of duties for public-facing roles. Optics. Code for us. Jamie read over my shoulder, face ashen. They're scared of the gay. Or the cousins. I slammed the laptop. Fucking. But doubt echoed, his voice small. Maybe they're right. Tainting the dream. No. Pull to chest. It's ours. Unapologetic. Call set. Me solo, Harlan's office, Midtown Tower, views mocking my turmoil. Appreciate candor, I said, steel. But we're a package. The story sells, real love, real grit. He steepled fingers. Risky narrative. Investors hedge. Then find new ones. Walked out, pulse thunder. Back home, Jamie waited, anxious. What did you say? Everything. Kishfirs. We're gold. Relief but fragile. Nights grew strained, arguments over small silences thick. One eve, Brooklyn close, I found him in the office staring at a photo. Us kids, gap-toothed grins at the lake. Remember this? He asked, voice thick. Best summer. Sat beside. What's eating? Fear. Admission raw. Of breaking you like they said. You won't. Hand over his. We're unbreakable. Kiss followed, desperate, reaffirming. But morning brought distance again. His flight to Portland. Old friend wedding. Solo. Alone I unraveled. Texts unanswered, worry festering. Sarah called, sensing. Breathe. He's processing. Am I enough? Whispered fear. Always were. To him, to me. Grace again. He returned changed, tanned, tales of coast hikes but eyes shadowed. Needed headspace, he said, unpacking. From. Heart cracked. Us? No. Me. Therapy echo. Old ghosts. We rebuilt slow, counselor sessions doubling. Weekends unplugged in the Catskills, cabin rented. No signal. Hikes through fern-choked trails, his hand in mine, stories swapped by firelight. I choose you, he vowed, stars witness. Every day. Echoed, sealed. Winter loomed, snow dusting first. Club holiday galas booked solid. Harlan caved. New backers queer-friendly, toasting the power couple. Vindication suite. New Year's Eve, ball drop looming, rooftop packed. Confetti poised, crowd chanting. Jamie pulled me close amid the revelry, lips to ear. Here's to us. Fireworks burst, colors raining, our kiss timeless. Everything indeed messy, mended, magnificently ours. The new year dawned crisp. Resolutions whispered over Bloody Marys as the city shook off its glittery hangover. For the Velvet Rope it meant reinvention. Velvet West pitched for Chelsea. A pop-up in a gallery space to test waters. Art installations mingling with beats. Jamie dove in headfirst, sketching mood boards splashed with indigo and gold. His energy a balm after autumn's chill. This one's for dreamers, he said, pinning swatches to the loft wall, eyes alight. I watched, coffee in hand, the domesticity a quiet thrill. Our life woven from chaos. But beneath embers smoldered. His space trips lingered like aftertaste. A reminder that trust rebuilt was glass, prone to cracks. January blurred in meetings, architects, permits, Sarah zooming from LA with thumbs up emojis and venture connects. You're killing it, she'd say, her new life a backdrop of palm silhouettes. We were good, texts about recipes, calls laughing over club quirks. No ghosts. Mid-month, a curveball. Invite from Portland, Jamie's old scene industry mixer. Network for West. He lit up. Could score talent. DJs, promoters, big names. Go, I encouraged, masking the twinge. Scout like a boss. But as pack time neared, hesitation crept. Sure you're cool? Solo a week. Brooklyn and Midtown need their king. Kiss to send off. Bring back stories. He did. Postcards of bridges shrouded in mist. Texts laced with wish you here. The week dragged. Club humming under my watch. But nights echoed empty, bed vast. Lena covered well. But I caught myself staring at the door, willing his stride. Return brought tales. Rain-slick streets, a queer collective gig that felt like homecoming. His hug at the airport was fierce, but words tumbled hesitant. Met someone, old flame Eli. Bartender now, runs a spot up there. Casual drop but gut punched. Eli. As in? Yeah. The one who gutted me. Laugh bitter. Crashed on his couch. Cleared air, friends now. Friends. The word hung loaded. Good. Closure's gold. But nights after, he'd scroll his phone late. Thumb pausing on contacts. My questions deflected with just checking emails. February frosted in, Valentine's kitsch decking the clubs. Hearts on napkins, rose specials. We played it cool, private dinner at a hole-in-wall Italian. Candle flicker dancing in his eyes. To us. Toasting Chianti, but his gaze drifted, distant. Post-dinner loft soft-lit, I pushed. Talk. Eli. I forked down. Not like that. But seeing him. Dirt shit. How easy it was once. Novagi. Baggage. And now. Complicated. Hand-raked hair. Love you, Magnus. But sometimes wonder if I stayed there away from family fallout would I be less scarred. The scar our shared wound but his alone in depth. You're not scarred. Whole. With me. Eyes met turmoil. Trying to believe. Therapy amped sessions weekly counselor probing. Triggers? Past patterns. Jamie unpacked Eli's ghost. Passion wild, crash brutal, abandonment echoing mom's chill. Fell hard, got burned. Now you safe but scares me. What if I torch it? My turn. Fear of echoes, dad's unspoken disdain. You're my safe risk. Progress stuttered. Date nights laced with tension, his silence is growing. Club thrived, West soft launch a hit. Critics cooing intimate evolution. But home fractured subtle. Arguments over schedules. Needing nights out with brothers. One March Eve, post-West close, I found him in the green room, phone in lap, screen glowing. Text thread with Eli, emojis casual, words warm. Hey man, missed the rains. Come visit. Jealousy flared, ugly. Planning a getaway? He startled, locking screen. Just banter. Old habit. Habit. Echo bitter. Or temptation. Eyes flashed. Don't. Not fair. Fair? You're half out already. Voice rose, shattering quiet. He stood, jacket grab. Need air. This us suffocating. Door slammed, me chasing to the street, rain starting slick. Jamie. He turned, drenched. What do you want? Me perfect. I'm not. I want you here. Fighting. Pause, rain sheeting. Me too. But scared shitless. We trudged back, soaked, words tumbling. His doubts, my insecurities, Eli a symptom not cause. Bed that night, arms locked, apologies whispered. Stay, I begged. Staying. Vow fragile. Spring greened reluctant. Cherry blossoms defiant in Central Park. We leaned in, couples retreat upstate. Workshops on communication. Laughter reclaiming space. Mom visited, awkward brunch turning warm. Her hand on Jamie's. Family's family. Tears hers. But Eli's shadow loomed. Another text, invite to his bar's anniversary. Jamie showed me transparent. Go if you need. But come back. He went weekend pass.
I prept solo, art vise.
Text flowed, gigs fire. Thinking of you. Photo. Him on stage, mic in hand, crowd blurred. Return, airport hug, bone crush. Needed that, roots without rot. Eli closure reel. Summer hummed back, clubs peaking, us steadier. West cemented rep. Expansions whispered, Philly? Jamie's eyes sparkled, planning, my hand in his. July 4th, fireworks over the Hudson, rooftop packed. He pulled me aside, box in pocket, not ring but keys. To the new place, our Brooklyn pad. Move in. Tears pricked. Hell yes. Fireworks burst, sinking hearts. But August brought heatwave hell, and with it Harlan's successor, slick VC named Derek, all smiles and subtext. Dinner meet. Steakhouse dim, his eyes on Jamie lingering. Dynamic duo. Inspiring. Post-meal loft, Jamie uneasy. Felt off. Like he was. Scouting. But Derek persisted, lunches for synergies. Compliments edged flirt. Jamie rebuffed but seed sown. My paranoia, his guilt. Climax brewed slow. Labor Day bash. West overflowing, Derek VIP'd. He cornered Jamie by the bar. Hand on arm, words lost in noise. I watched, blood boiling, waiting in. Problem. Derek grinned, oily. Just chatting expansion. Your man's a visionary. Mine. Possessive slip, raw. Back home, explosion. You let him paw you. Jamie reeled. Paw? Business. Flirt. Insecurity spewed. Like Eli but closer. Face crumpled. That's it? You don't trust. Trust? When you bail at first sign. Yells escalated, hurts hurled. His abandonment fears, my engulfment dread. Door loomed, he grabbed it. Maybe mom was right. I ruin. Don't. Plea broken. He paused, tears tracking. Love you too much to break. Stayed. Collapsed together, sobs merging, dawn finding us mended. Vulnerable, vow renewed. Fall leaves fell, Derek distanced, new backers cleaner. Therapy thrived, us deeper. Scars shared, strengths woven. Thanksgiving family table, mom, aunt us. Toasts awkward then warm. To kin, aunt said, hand over Jamie's. Grace. Winter whispered, snow soft. New Year's Eve, ball drop, his lips on mine. Everything. Always. The year turned again, resolutions etched in frost on the loft windows. But for once mine weren't grand, just stay open. Scribbled in Jamie's looping script on our shared journal. A habit from therapy that kept us honest. Velvet Empire grew. Philly Scout trips, pop-ups in Boston, the brand a beacon for nights unjudged. We balanced it with intention. Sundays sacred, no phones tangled in sheets or wandering markets. His hand in mine a talisman against the grind. January thawed into February's bite. And with it, a ghost resurfaced. Not Eli but Tommy, slithering back via email. Heard you're expanding. Congrats. Coffee. Clear the air. Nerve after the suits flop but curiosity peaked. Closure for him, armor for us. We met neutral. Diner off Times Square, Formica scarred, coffee bitter as grudges. Tommy slid in older lines deeper, no swagger. Look man. That night. I was pissed. Job loss, ex dumping me. You were easy target. Easy. The word chafed but I sipped steady. Hurt people. Cost me us a lot. He nodded, eyes down. No. Been in AA since. Working retail but missed the scene. Any openings? Surprise then pity. Not here. But referrals? Yeah. Gratitude flickered real. Appreciate. And sorry. For the slurs. Own shit now. Handshake tentative, bridge built rickety. Jamie waiting outside, brow arched. Therapy miracle? Redemption arc. Laugh shared. Worlds gray. Spring bloomed riotous, cherry petals carpeting paths as we walk central, plans spilling. Philly lease signed, opening June. Our trilogy, Jamie quipped, spinning me under a branch. Mom called that weak voice lighter. Saw the article. Velvet Revolution. Proud boys. Boys. Inclusive. Warmi. Visit planned, Florida. Beach house rental, her cooking Italian feasts. Trip south healed layers. Sand between toes, her stories of youth softening edges. Love's love, she said one eve, sunset gilding waves, arm around Jamie. Took me time. Don't wait on me. Tears, hugs. Return north fortified. Summer scorched, Philly launch a whirlwind. Truck unloaders cursing heat. DJ tests echoing off brick walls. Opening night. Lines to the corner, celebs slinking in, flashbulbs polite. Jamie emceed, Mike Gold. Welcome to Velvet South, where hearts drop beats. Crowd roared, us backstage, his kiss electric. We did it. But triumph tempered, staff drama. A Philly hire skimming till caught red-handed. Confrontation messy, cops called, headlines local. Club bust. Investors jittered, Harlan's ghost emailing caveats. We hunkered. Audits, trainings, PR spin on zero tolerance. Jamie shouldered blame. My vetting. But I pulled him up. Team lift. Fall painted Philly gold. Clubs synced via video calls. Our life a triad of cities. Distance tested, weekends apart, text bridges. One night Philly solo, Jamie called late. Miss your voice. Echoed back, ache sweet. November chilled, Thanksgiving joint. Mom in Philly, aunt zooming, table groaning, turkey and tails. Toasts to found family. Laughter healing old rifts. December crept, holidays twinkling, our second as us. Tree trimming turned playful. Ornaments flung, Jamie catching me mid-laugh. Dip kiss under mistletoe. Best yet. But Christmas Eve curve. Aunt's call, voice quaver. Jamie's dad, Uncle Ray's stroke. Hospital. Bad. Flight booked frantic, me driving through snow-slick Jersey. Hospital sterile, beeps indicting. Ray frail in bed, tubes snaking. Jamie at bedside, hand clasped, face carved stone. Go in, he said, throat tight. I did, Ray's eyes flickering open, recognition slow. Magnus. Whisper rough. Heard. You too. Yeah. No flinch. Good uncle. Real good. Gaze held, then nod faint. Take care. Of him. Promise sealed. Vigil stretched. Nights catnapping in vinyl chairs, coffee sludge. Ray rallied slow, words slurred but will iron. Discharge home, a shuttling care. Meals cooked, stories spun of club conquests. One eve, Ray gripped Jamie's hand. Proud son. Always was. Tears release. Love you, Dad. Back north, bond ironclad. New Year's, Philly rooftop. Ball drop virtual on screens, crowd wild. Jamie's arm around me, whisper. Everything meant. Echo eternal. Years folded. Expansions to Boston, D.C. Empire velvet veined across coast.
Sarah partner de formal, l'aventure sans tour.
Mom dated, a widower gentle us toasting her spark. Weddings came, ours quiet Central Park dawn vows under oaks. Through hustles and haunts. Rings simple bands etched everything. Kids. Not blood but chosen. Mentoring youth from shelters, club scholarships. Their thanks brighter than lights. A decade on, gray threading temples, clubs, legends, us elders still dancing, hands linked. Ray passed peaceful, us at bedside. His last smile benediction. On a rooftop, city eternal, Jamie leans in. Worth it. Kiss sure. Every shattered bottle, every space taken. Meant everything. Fade to pulse, lights, laughter, love unbreaking. Human whole.